Welcome into the PFF 2-Minute Drill, the Friday edition of the 2-Minute Drill. It's the young man's crew here. Treash, Ben, Linsey with me today. First thing, going to you, Ben. Who do you think is a dark horse MVP candidate? I feel like we're talking about it every week, but I need to know, as the odds update, who are you looking at as a dark horse candidate to an NFL MVP in 2020?
The guy I'm looking at, if you can get him somewhere in plus 5,000, that sort of range, is Ben Roethlisberger. If you look at the Steelers' offense, they were a top 5 team by EPA per play in 2017 and 2018. Dropped a dead last season, 32nd. They still went 8-8, largely because of that defense, and the talent's still there. So if the offense plays well, the team is probably going to play well, and people are going to look to Ben Roethlisberger with the narrative coming back from injury, which I think gives them a little bit of help in that MVP conversation.
Yeah, I mean, if any longtime NFL veteran is going to win the MVP, it's going to be the 38-year-old Phillip Rivers. And I think it's because the situation in Indianapolis has potential to be one of the best situations he's ever been in. Looking at his receiving core, I mean, you have T.Y. Hilton, who is a certified deep threat. We saw him with Andrew Luck do that. They just got Michael Pittman, who we thought was a first-round talent. He's a great possession receiver prospect. And everyone is sleeping on Paris Campbell, who was out most of the season last year due to injury. And you know how he can be a quarterback's best friend with what he does after the catch. So I really think with that improved offensive line too, Phillip Rivers can get back to that 2018 form we saw when he was the 3rd highest graded quarterback in regular season play.
Tresh, I'm going to continue to sleep on Paris Campbell and his underneath routes. My MVP candidate is Matt Stafford of the Detroit Lions, who ranked 3rd in clean pocket passing grade this past year. Matt Stafford. Over the past 3 years, who ranks top 5 in clean pocket passing grade? Matt Stafford. They've built that defense. Matt Patricia is building something special, starting with Jeffrey Okudah. The pass rush continues to improve. Marvin Jones and Kenny Golladay are 2 of the better possession receivers in the NFL, catch everything thrown their way. I think this Lions offense, if Matt Stafford can stay healthy, I think could be great. I think this team could be great. I'm saying Matt Stafford plus 5K, plus 6K. Give me him as the MVP dark horse.
I don't hate that at all. Looking at the offseason's acquisitions teams made, everyone knows about the DeAndre Hopkins, the Stephon Diggs, the big moves. But what are your guys' underrated acquisitions this offseason?
Yeah, I'm going way out there that no one even talked about when he signed, and that's Prince Amukamara with the Las Vegas Raiders. You know, their situation was very unique this past offseason just because Eli Apple, he backed out of the deal. They were rumored to be in on Byron Jones, but he costed too much, and then they ended up with free agency with pretty much nothing. And then they went out in the draft. They got Damon Arnett and Amik Robertson, but now they have Prince Amukamara, who over the last 3 years has been a top 25 outside cornerback in PFF grade. They have a veteran that can kind of help mentor those young corners. I think he provides a much bigger boost to that secondary than a lot of people think.
Yeah, I'm going to highlight an addition by subtraction. I think how the Los Angeles Chargers handled the Melvin Gordon situation while also extending Austin Eckler, one of the most valuable running backs in the NFL this past year, was spectacular. They did not overpay. I know they offered him a ton of money in a multi-year extension early in the process, the negotiating process, but Melvin Gordon ultimately walks. They save at that position, a very replaceable position. Addition by subtraction, one of my favorite moves of the offseason.
And for me, it's the Ravens straight up stealing Calais Campbell from the Jaguars for a 5th-round pick. This is someone who came in at 36 on the PFF 50 that came out earlier this week. One of the best defensive linemen in the NFL, both against the run, and he can bring something as a pass rusher, which is a thing that the Ravens were missing last season. I think he's a big move for their defensive line.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Now, shifting our focus to the wide receivers. I mean, every year we see one wide receiver, perform at a top 10 level that no one really expected. So who do you guys think that guy's going to be this year in 2020?
I am riding Ben Linsey's MVP dark horse, Ben Roethlisberger candidacy with Deontay Johnson. I think he could break out in 2020. Juju Smith-Schuster has been productive in the slot, has struggled a bit to create separations significantly down the football field. Deontay Johnson's different. Great after the catch this past season, forced some of the most missed tackles among rookies this past year. And I think he can create separation outside and inside down the football field. You saw that at Toledo. I think he's going to see a higher target rate in 2020 and better production, so much that he could be a top 10 receiver in the NFL.
I love Deontay, but I'm going to stay in division, go Marquise Brown. He was played a lot of last season injured, but good things happened when Lamar Jackson threw him the ball. 134.4 passer rating when targeted, led all wide receivers with 50 or more targets last season. I think him coming back healthy, and the Ravens didn't really add anyone to compete with him for that number 1 wide receiver spot. Even in a run-heavy offense, I think he puts up big numbers next season.
I don't know how me picking last on this question, and I'm still allowed to pick Deebo Samuel. I don't know how you guys just completely skipped him. He flirted with that top 10 level last year towards the back end of the season. From actually week 10 through the Super Bowl, he was the 11th highest graded receiver in the NFL. I think he can solidify that top 10 status next year. I mean, he absolutely is filthy after the catch, and I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to find a new best friend there.
You want to get rid of me and get back to more great PFF YouTube content? All you have to do is push that button right there and subscribe. Thanks for watching.